Yep. Okay. Well, welcome, councillors, members of the public, and staff. I declare meeting open at 6:08. Is that? Sorry, 6:38. Okay. I don't have my glasses. That's the problem. Okay. Um, Now we'll start the meeting. Everyone at this meeting is reminded to conduct themselves in a polite, professional manner, keep communication factual, and use appropriate language and tone. Do not use any defamatory or derogatory remarks. Defamation laws apply to address in public forum. I also ask councillors to observe the requirements under the Code of Meeting Practice and Meeting Etiquette. I'll remind all present that the video recording is an official record of council and may be made available to persons upon request in accordance with the Government Information Public Access Act 2009. No other recordings are permitted. Acknowledgement of country. Bayside Council acknowledges the traditional custodians, the Gadigal Aboriginal people of the Eora Nation, and pays respects to elders past, present and emerging. The people of the Eora Nation, their spirits and ancestors will always remain with our waterways and the land, our Mother Earth. Now, we've got an apology from Councillor, so she's put an apology, Jansen, yeah. Councillor Jansen, if we could put that in the minutes. Could I... thank you, GM. Councillor Sarabnasi as well. So could I have a second mover? Moved by Councillor Naji, seconded by Councillor Morrissey. All in favour say aye. Yes, declared carried. That will be noted in the minutes. We don't have any procedural motion. Disclosure of interest, councillors. Any disclosure of interest? Thank you. No disclosure of interest. That will also be minuted. Minutes of previous meeting. Can I ask two councillors who were present at the last meeting? Moved by Councillor Muscat, seconded by Councillor Morrissey. All in favour say aye. Against, declare it carried. Thank you, councillors. We don't want to do any items by exception because we've only got the 4 reports, and we do have speakers in public forum. So no speakers, no one presenting. We do, okay. Sure. Okay. Yeah, please come forward.
Yeah, I might introduce, Chair, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
So Business Chamber South are a new regional chamber seeking to expand operations in response to an identified need from within the business community. The chamber already has a strategic working relationship with the Georges River Council, where it has established member businesses, but with its board embracing a vision to represent businesses across the Bayside LGA, they are also looking to build a similar strategic relationship with Bayside Council. So that's going to involve collaborating with council staff around delivering a small business month event, which is in October, and 2 networking events. But we also thought that this was a great opportunity to for the board, and the board are here, and Tony and his colleagues to introduce their proposal to you, about their vision, their strategy, and for you to be able to hear directly from them. So I'll hand over to Tony.
Thank you, Rani. Yeah, please go ahead.
Is that on? Yep, thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you for the opportunity today to present tonight. As Rani said, the Business Chamber South has come from a rebranding exercise that were previously known as the St George Business Chamber, and from a strategic direction perspective, we've decided that it'd be a great opportunity for us to represent the businesses in the Bayside community. We think it's a great strategic opportunity for both parties to work together moving forward. So who are we? I want to start by first introducing the wonderful exec team that's joined us today. If you can please stand up, each one over one of you. We've got Val, our Vice President, Val Collier. We've got our Secretary, Luke Kovacs. We've got Rick, our Treasurer, Rick Lee, and we've got Carlos Zeden, our Communications Chair. My dear friends, these are the wonderful volunteers that have built the St George Business Chamber, which is now known as the Business Chamber South. all volunteers, all give their time because they believe in giving back to the community and, more importantly, the business community as a whole. The business chamber itself represents a dynamic business community, which is it's made up of Georges River, former Rockdale and Botany Bay council areas. Evolving from the Sandhills business I've just mentioned, in accordance with our 4 pillars strategy, we are dedicated to advancing the interests of local businesses through collaboration, advocacy, strategic initiatives, focusing on economic development, infrastructure enhancement, area beautification, and more importantly, cutting red tape. We're here to make business easy. We're here to help business make business easy. So, important thing for us today as I stand in front of you all is that this initiative and this rebranding and this name has been endorsed by a number of key people, including the New South Wales Business Chamber, the St George Business Chamber Executive. We've secured all the relevant brand IP to make sure that no one takes any initiative away from that. We're looking to expand the board from the current executive of 5 to an additional 4 new executives, and those 4 executives will be from the Bayside area, representing key businesses in this area because it's important we feel that they have a voice at the executive, and it's also part of our strategic vision to ensure that they have a voice at the table. And we've actually already started the exercise of contacting a number of key business people, and next week we have, next Wednesday night, our next executive meeting, we'll have 3 or 4 of those business people presenting who've shown interest to come on the board. So that's quite an exciting time for us as well. So from our perspective, it's important that we get the right people, not just the right people to fit the right culture with the right vision to deliver as volunteers for the community. That's very important for us. So what's our vision? Our vision is to interconnect communities, to unify both the Georges River businesses and the Bayside businesses under one voice, united as one. As our tagline says, your chamber, your voice. We also want to expand the Know Your Local campaign. That's an issue that Luke runs, where we actually have 3-minute videos where we showcase businesses on site. We give them the opportunity to showcase themselves, their strengths, their weaknesses, and obviously their visions. And that's something that we found has been very successful, and we intend to expand that into potentially more videos and even a potential podcast, which is quite an exciting initiative. Our vision is also to assist in driving economic growth in the area. We've already commenced conversations with key businesses, including 2 banks who are looking to open up a presence here in Bayside, as well as along the Pacific Corridor. I had that meeting with them last night, actually, and they're really excited about working with the Chamber to do that, and we think that's important. And that's what our role is. Our role is to facilitate these relationships and these opportunities for businesses to come in and be able to drive economic change and development in the area. So that's something we're really excited about. And obviously, we'll always be strategic partners with all the businesses around effective advocacy and providing a voice for all our businesses. And when we say provide a voice, and it's something that we've worked quite well with Georges River, is we collaborate. We work with the council. We don't sit on side streets with placards. That's not our motto. Our motto is to work with all key people, whether it be council staff, whether it be the council in general, to work on better solutions or better initiatives for business. So that's something we're committed to and will continue to do, obviously under the Business Chamber South brand. What's our strategy? 6-monthly event plan we've already put together, starting this month with our Skills Expo, which at the moment is looking at 6 local schools totaling 250 students already registered and about 150 general staff, general public attending. It's going to be one of the biggest expos by number held in the state this year and probably even before. And it's the first of its kind in this area. So it's a great starting point for us to show that what we're about moving forward. And I know Bayside has also registered their expression of interest to have a stall there too, so which we're excited about as well. We're also about building connections with key business leaders, as I've mentioned. We've already started talking with a number of businesses, ways that they can come in. We're also talking to a number of universities to potentially come into the area. We're also talking to a number of, I've got a meeting tomorrow actually with WATSO around also how we can work together to collaborate. That's kind of what we're all about, building networks and relationships. And that's something we're really, really keen on. And more importantly, also building a sense of community. You know, chambers are not just about business, they're also about building an ecosystem, a community where both business and community at large work together. As we've seen with our partnership with the charity last year, we had the gala dinner where we raised funds for autism awareness. And this year, I think our focus is going to be around mental health in business. So it's all great, exciting initiatives. Our timeline, we're all committed for the next 12 to 18 months to work hard to ensure this works. We're all volunteers, as I said, but we're also passionate about what we believe in. And as you can see from the timeline, starting with this quarter, with this financial year, we will obviously establish relationships, introduce ourselves to the community and obviously the key businesses, start to build the relationships from there. Then our focus will turn obviously to importantly is membership. All chambers need members to grow. We're seeing our sponsorship growing at the moment quite nicely, and we want to focus our energy now on membership, which is fantastic, and that'll be something we'll continue over the next 6 to 12 months. Integration to the business community, we'll do that through networking events, collaborating on workshops, talking to key businesses in the area, how we can work with them and build that sort of relationship. And again, that'll be over the next 6 months. And I think we've already got our first 6-month event schedule, which we're going to publish shortly. And that's including a TAFE Awards night, which Val is actually preparing at the moment and working on as we speak. And that's in November, Val, I think, is that correct? Yeah. So that's something I said, we're driven, we've got a plan, we've got a vision, we intend to deliver on it, and we intend to do it in unification with yourselves, the councillors and the staff of this council. So why did we choose to do this? Apart from the fact that obviously we thought it was a strategic vision here, but we also see Bayside as an area that's got a different style of business, and it's different style of its advantages is obviously its geographical locations, its transport hubs, broader industry bases, and also we can see a strategic advantage around the unification of business and working together, because we can see synergies in different industries being represented here. We believe that we can work with them to build a really, really successful sort of hubbing business community and chamber around that. Some of the industries we identified, transport and logistics, manufacturing and industry, and robotics and STEMs. We think that's the industry moving forward, and that's the industry that we want to work with and to build sort of that business hub network. Our business engagement program for the next 25, if we can go to the event schedule. Sorry guys, I might have gone a little bit too fast, I'm conscious of time. The 2024 schedule, I think that's, if we can have a look at that. That's it. So that's our event schedule, starting with a mascot networking night, then a Rockdale networking night, and as mentioned by Rani, we're working towards a breakfast, business breakfast. Now the dates may vary, obviously subject to availability and so on, but that's something we're committing to over the next 3 to 6 months to deliver. To obviously build with, to work with obviously the council and the businesses to deliver what we think will be I won't call it a showcase event, but an event to actually announce that we have a chamber now that's going to be working as a unified voice under one banner for the business community. So we're quite excited about that. So from our perspective, guys, we're here to serve, we're here to build, we're here to drive change, whether it be economic development, whether it be collaboration, whether it be just a positive working business environment for the community, for the Bayside community. That's what we're here to do, and that's why we're here in front of you today to say that we're here to work with you all, and we look forward to working with each and every one of you, and we hope that we have a successful relationship moving forward, working with each and every one of you pre and post election. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to take on any questions before there is any.
Councillors, any questions? Councillor Morrissey?
Oh.
No, it's new to all of us. It's all good.
Just a couple of questions. So in summary, it's a collaborative approach. What support are you seeking from council?
We're seeking it basically to work.
We have to do the tagging.
Sorry. We're basically working to collaborate with you, work with you on a number of events and workshops, as we do similarly in the same relationship we have with Georges River at the moment. We've got, for example, at the moment slotted in is that next year will be the March International Women's Day breakfast. We'll be taking that over on behalf of the council, and we'll obviously be looking to work with both councils on delivering a showpiece event there which has not happened before in this area. So we're looking to work with you guys, collaborate now. Obviously, that also may involve financial support at some point. We will have to discuss that as well. But really, more importantly, is that we want a chamber to have a presence here, councillor. It's important. And at the moment, we know there's local chambers here, but we are a regional chamber that has the strength and the voice to be able to make a difference. And that's what we want to work with you guys on collaboratively, is to establish a presence here and one that's effective and positive. That's really the most important thing, councillor.
Sure, thank you. And you're seeking 4 new executive. How are they being selected or shortlisted? You said you've got some interest, but I mean you're starting from scratch. So how are you approaching them? What's the criteria? Or yeah.
Yeah, great question. The, the people that we've approached are people who actually have business in the area. That's the first criteria. They're people who actually approached us, believe it or not, and that's the truth. They approached us because they wanted a chamber in the area, and they found out from word of mouth that we were looking to come in, and they were like, "We want to be part of it. This area needs a chamber, a strong chamber." And basically, one conversation led to another, and now, yeah, through word of mouth, there's 2 really good candidates who've shown interest. But more importantly, one of the candidates who's got a business down here in towards Bay Street said, "Tony, I've already got 6 or 7 new members that want to come on board." I said, "Mate, great, hold it for now, but we'll talk." That shows you that people are genuinely want a chamber, and they will buy in because they want to see a voice. They want networking events. They want to showcase their business. They want to meet other peers. That's what the area is crying for. That's the feedback that we're getting. So the 2 people that put their hands up are actually prominent people in this area. I don't want to say who their names are yet until we finalise it, but they're people who believe in what we're doing, and that's important to us as well.
Yeah, thank you. It all sounds quite positive. One thing I'd like to see is some work on the nighttime economy as well, particularly we've got the Brighton area over here in the Bayside East, and particularly in the Botany, Banks Meadow, and over the Manxcott, we've got a lot of new breweries and boutiques type foodie businesses, arts, pottery, that sort of thing. And with the 24/7 economy that we've got now, I think one thing that is lacking in Bayside is the nighttime economy for people who are working shift work, and they can go and get breakfast at 10 o'clock at night if they wish to, or after work drinks and things like that. So I think there's a big opportunity there to capitalise on.
Yeah, I agree, and that's actually my passion point, the night economy. Believe it or not, I jump in cars. I've gone to Metro, Barrackville Metro. I've gone to Chatswood. I've gone to Strathfield because I want to understand what they're doing, because I feel that's what we're missing. There's something that's missing to drag people out. I think there's a lot of work to be done along the Bayside area. The hotel, I think, can play a big part in dragging people in. I think the night economy, for me, is probably the biggest area that we need to work on, and I agree with you on that, and that's something the other day I was looking on social media and I saw how Bankstown was doing a Bankstown Bites. I got jealous. I thought to myself, how it was such a great event. And I thought, why aren't we doing this here? What are we missing here so that to me is one of the things I think we all need to collaborate on. If somebody like a Liverpool council can run a night market and run a successful night market, same with Bankstown, what are we not doing here? What's missing here that we can all work together to deliver? Because I think that's one of the things we need to deliver. And I've spoken to the Georges River Council about this. They know that I'm passionate about it, and that's something I'm driving as part of their economic leadership that they've set up that I'm on. I agree with you, Council. That's one of the things I really am passionate about and want to drive, and hopefully we can do something about that.
Any other question, Councillor Werner?
Thank you. So this looks really interesting, and I did attend the gala dinner for autism, so I'm really impressed that the Chamber's sort of involving partners that are doing community work and things that are sort of outside what we would initially think of as the sort of the business community. But so yeah, congratulations for that. I was just wondering, so there's 3 events mentioned here: the mascot networking, the Rockdale networking, and the business breakfast. And I can see in the report that it's already included in the approved budget. So for your events, are they all events that are done in partnership with councils or funded by councils, or are there other things that you're doing as well?
No, and classic example is the Skills Expo. That's something we've already started, and that's an issue we'd love the council to be part of. And it's not about it financially, it's also just about promoting it, sending the word out. It doesn't always have to be a financial commitment, it's also just working in kind together to develop. So no, a lot of the workshops, the way we'll run the workshops is I've already started conversations with a number of people who want to run the workshops with us. So no, the workshops and events network won't always be a collaboration with the council, but we expect that the council would promote it, similar to the vein as Georges River does with us, with the newsletters, your socials. That's kind of also just as important to us. So no, to answer your question, council, it's not all financial. It'll be attending. Could be, as I think I sent out the invitations to all the councillors to attend the workshop, the skills workshop, just to be part, just to have a presence there and show support. That's just important to us to see as well.
Okay, any other, Councillor Barlow?
Just a question. Well, part of my ward is Bexley. Now, the Bexley Chamber of Commerce have just celebrated their 100 years. Are you going to overrun them, or I believe they just want to stand alone, as far as I can gather, because I really think they've been very successful. We've had Bexley North Chamber, we've had a Rockdale Chamber, which did very well for a long time. So it's a matter of who's there running it, but Bexley Chamber is really the example of someone that has done so well.
We see ourselves as a regional chamber. We represent all voices, and more importantly, we work with all chambers. So to your point, I'm working with Jeff at the moment as a collaboration around how we can work better with Minister Camper to support chambers. That's something that myself, him, Canterbury and Sutherland Chamber are working together as an initiative. So from our perspective, it's not about railroading, it's about working together. Bexley Chamber's been around 100 years. We've rebranded twice, and we've worked as St George Business Chamber as well as a chamber. We've always worked collaboratively with all the chambers. We don't see ourselves as coming into the area to take over. We're here to work at a regional level. Bexley Chamber is more of a localised chamber, and it does a great job. It's done an awesome job as a localised chamber, doing great things. From our perspective, we will always support, work and collaborate with all chambers, but from our perspective, we're a regional chamber representing the whole area. So that's how we see ourselves. So no, Council, rest assured, we're not here to take over, we're here to work. And I know there's a lot of chambers around here that are in operation, and we're always going to have our hands open to anyone to work with us. As I said, we've got a co-collaboration. The Christmas party at the moment is slotted down with Sutherland to show you. So from our perspective, we see it as a collaboration. We don't see it as anything. And as long as you mutually, as to your comments, Councillor, work respectfully together, then there's no reason why everybody shouldn't exist together.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. That was a great presentation, well detailed. Thank you. All right, councillors, we're on CS 24.021. We've got an office recommendation. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Najee, seconded by Councillor Morrissey. All in favour, say aye. Against, declare
Scott,
carried.
before we do that, could I ask a question to the General Manager?
It's already been moved, I guess. Yeah, go ahead.
Just a quick question. I just was interested in, because I think we did have a consultant that worked up a plan for how council can support the local business community, and I was just interested in how this fits in with the plan that the consultant developed.
Through the chair, from the initial discussions that we've had with the chamber executive, we see there's real possibilities. There's no inconsistencies with what council has developed and what the chamber is proposing. And where those two things converge, that's where we want to put some of that effort. Hence the collaboration on a couple of those events that you heard about tonight. So it's certainly in no way inconsistent, and we're very happy to have the opportunity to work with such enthusiastic and business savvy people.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. So we've got a mover for this CS 24.021, moved by Councillor Najee, seconded by Councillor Morrissey. All in favour, say aye. Against, declare it carried. Thank you, councillors. Now on to the second report, which is item CS 24.022, Community Energy Initiative Update. I think, Hong, would you like to give us a bit of a summary on that?
Yeah, through the chair. So this report is highlight the four recently community energy initiative within Bayside Council. The first one is community battery activity, which is identify 2 locations that within council building to install the community battery to use on site as well as with the community. This is the grant funded project from federal government through our energy provider, which is Zen Energy and SS Rock, the whole program. We're currently in the process of reviewing the agreement between the contractor, the energy supplier, and SS Rock before we proceed to do a detailed technical feasibility for each site to make sure we site the battery correctly. And the intention is the installation of the battery will be early next year, and it will be full operations in between April to October next year. So that will be the idea. The two locations we identified, which is Angelo and Nessus, the aquatic centers, quite big battery. The investment cost estimate to be around nearly $1 million. The other location is the town hall, this town hall here, the smaller size battery, and the cost estimate to be $175,000. And that's fully funded by the federal government and the energy supplier. So there are no cost to council. We've got a benefit in terms of using their power with reduce the consumptions, which means it's reduced cost to council in terms of electricity operations. That's the first initiative. The second initiative is recently at the Bexley North, Oscreet, working with council, get the grant funding from federal government to install community battery and the EV charging station right at the Gilchrist Park. And the launch happened on the 29th of June 2024 with the Federal Minister for Climate Change Energy, Chris Bowen, and few other federal minister and the state minister also attending. We got our mayor and few other councillors attending the launch as well. It's quite successful. The community battery being designed, wrapped up by local First Nation artists. So it's quite, the look is really good. The charging station being used quite a number of times. Went out there and have a look several times, and it's been used all the time, every time I just pass by. So that's the second. The third initiative is the EV charging stations infrastructure within Bayside. Councillor, you're probably aware that in the last few years, last 2 years, we're talking about the pole-mounted EV charging stations. Currently, we've got 7 charging stations already installed around the whole LGA, plus the one with Gilchrist Park, which is 8 pole-mounted EV charging stations available to the public. The main usage is actually at the Enclave, where we've got 2 charging stations there, and it's high usage in terms of compared to the other charging stations. And the final initiative is council been working with SS Rock for street lighting initiative to replace 220,000 LED lighting for street lighting across the whole LGA. So it's really about saving council nearly $500,000 over the last 2 years, especially with the high inflation in terms of electricity pricing. That gives us a lot of great outcome in terms of the electricity saving. So that's just in a real brief summarize of the report.
No, thank you. That's a good summary. Just a question. I mean, what are the size of these batteries and how they're recharged?
So the battery itself is recharged at the night time, which is try to top up the battery during night time using the renewable energy come from the different sites, which is could come from the wind power stations. And during the daytime, when we have to draw more power, the battery will subsidize, like we have to draw the power from the battery before we top up with any extra need from the grid. So it's reduced the demand on the grid itself, as well as because we reduce the demand, our electricity charging based on how much kilowatt and how much power you draw on that day. There are 2 different prices because we reduce the demand, means we save the money on that demand reductions.
So charging at night would be at a reduced rate?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Councillor
Yep.
William?
So with the one that's located at the aquatic centre, is that being recharged by the solar panels that are on the roof there?
Yeah, that's when the way we try to set it up is the solar panel in our roof. If it's surplus, we charge to the battery. But currently, from the way we see at the moment, is really much anything we generate, we use it on site. So really minimal power from our own system charged to the battery.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Well, I've got some questions about the EV charging. I've noticed that it's just a little bit, I was confused by how this was presented. It says that there were 2 charging stations located on Arncliffe Street, Willow Creek, which represented 76% of the total. So does that mean there are 2 in different parts of Arncliffe, like on Arncliffe Street, or does it mean that there's one on Arncliffe Street and one somewhere else?
Yeah, so even though it's on Cliff Street, but it's like one near the gully, right behind the gully, and the one further up to near the
Near this old Scots Club that's now changed its name.
yeah, I think
Is it
it's
George
near
Football?
further up. That's right. Yeah,
There's one near Woolworths.
Yeah.
And one closer to the station.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there are 2.
Thanks.
Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Morris?
Just 2 things with the new Botany Aquatic Centre. Can we maybe work with the project team to design and future-proof that, so if funding becomes available, it can be easily integrated, or maybe that's already part of the design, I'm thinking.
Yeah, we already put that in the project timeline. So the reason why we don't do it this time because the project's still in the DA and the design stage, so it hasn't been contracted to be operate yet. But we already have the solar system on the roof of the Botany Aquatic Centres, as well as looking to the opportunity to do the battery on site as well. So it's in the timeline. It's just like not the right time yet.
Okay, so the idea is that the community battery, say at the current Angelo Nessus, that will power that facility. Is that the idea, or how?
Yeah, so the idea of that is to power the site.
Right.
And if any surplus where the community can tap into that. So that's why we designed the system is quite big system for that site. So we're looking at like 400 kilowatt battery site, not a smaller. So you look in the shipping container size of the battery.
Right. So how does the community then draw upon the excess?
So that's where it's coming to the energy provider that they will manage that carbon management on it. So they got on the software, they got on the meter attached into that battery side. So where, let's say if you the resident nearby want to tap into that, you have to get signed a contract with that energy provider so they can manage itself.
So they
so
can
it's-
sign up,
it's-
they
yeah.
can subscribe to draw from that
Correct.
facility or that part of the grid. Okay, yeah, excuse my ignorance, it's new to all of us, so I'm just trying to, when we say community battery, I want to make sure that the community has some benefit of that. And then just final question on the LED lights, which was the SS Rock initiative. I did raise with SS Rock that in comparison to other councils, in terms of the amount of LEDs that have been completed or replaced, Bayside was the lowest. I can't remember the number. I think it was in the 65 to 70%, where others were councils were in the 85 to 90%. So do you know what is the current completion rate and when will we get to 100%?
I don't have the figure at the moment, so I can take the
Yeah.
notice.
If you don't mind, because SS Rock said I asked them as well, and they gave me the same answer. We'll take that on notice. So I'm just concerned that we're all part of it, and I know there's different demands and contractors and things like that. But if there's some councils at 90% complete and we're at 70%, that's nice, but we need our fair share as well. So if you can please take that up with there's an SS Rock meeting next week, so I'll put them on notice. But it's really important for our community that we're already getting such a great benefit. We need to get more. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Morrissey. Okay, Councillors.
hang on, I've got a
Sorry,
question.
Councillor Bartlett.
Just with the community battery, the one you're going to have one at the town hall, somewhere here, and one at Angelo and Estes. But where would you put it if it's the size it is? And if it's a shame that it doesn't use the works depot can't go into it or not.
So with the Angelo NSS, we identify location just in the car park. Just when you go straight there, instead of going up, you get a smaller car park near the plant room, near the building. That's where we look in that location is quite closer to the meter board that can supply power easily. With the town hall, we have to go up to the plant room, which is on top of the building, and sitting inside the building itself.
So just with the pool, we're taking up car spaces.
Yeah,
one or
there
more,
will be
no, more than one.
They're the small garden at the moment. Is
Okay,
not the
right.
car park itself. It's the
Okay.
small garden there.
Next to the
All right.
Sorry, Councillor Souness.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You mentioned through the chair solar power manages or tops up the battery at Angelo and Estes, which is good. And as Councillor Barlow said, it's a shame the depot doesn't get a direct benefit. Maybe they need to subscribe, I don't know, but surely it's a conversation we should have had by now. But it's very rhetorical what I asked. My question is, the other battery, this one here, is it influenced by wind or solar or anything else? Or is it just a repository of some sort?
So the idea with these Zen energy supplier is they always supply the green power. So it could come from solar power or it come from the wind power. Anything that at night time, the majority will have to come from the wind power. So with this building here, the same idea, you charge the battery at night time and draw it out during the peak hour. So it means that it needs to come from the wind power to charge the battery. Through the chair, to answer the Council Liz Barlow question about the depot, the Bexley depot, we actually went there, investigate. Unfortunately, the electricity infrastructure inside the depot doesn't have that capacity to draw anything outside of the site. So that's why it's initially investigated, but it's not technically feasible at the moment.
Yeah. So, Councillor, as soon as
I am finished.
Yeah.
So, in other words, the Bexley depot is non-green because it can't be green.
Now, the Bexley depot at the moment on electricity supply to council operations is 100% renewable electricity. So that's the contract. Yeah.
Ignore my ignorance. How do you know you've got green power when the sun doesn't shine at night, when the wind doesn't blow? I'm not trying to be flippant now. How do you know you've got green power? This is it's just a fallacy.
This is quite complex. Yeah.
I think it's
So the green power there will be several ways. It could come from solar power. It could come from wind power. It could come from hydro power, and also
solar panels.
not the hydropower where you got the
Okay.
yeah. Or the last resource is the carbon offset, which is if you don't supply a lot of green power enough, you can buy the carbon credit from the federal government to offset any grey or black power consumed. So
Yeah.
that's quite a complex, but as
Yeah.
long as is the definition in terms of the federal government using that definitions, we're happy to use those. And when we talk to our energy supplier, we have to make sure that we got 100% green power, and that's under the contract that we have.
Yeah. Thank you, Hong. Look, I think
I'd like to thank you, Chair, for allowing the question, but it is a very, very complex,
yeah.
and there's a lot of mirrors involved here and smoke. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you. So,
Sorry, I just wanted to ask one more
okay,
question.
last question.
No, just at Bexley Depot, where you're putting a Bexley pool, where you're putting the power, it's in a hollow, so it won't. You can't rely on wind. So what are we? Yeah, but so with the one at Bexley Aquatic Centre has to be relying on solar, doesn't it? It's in a hollow, so and that's why it's such a great pool because it's protected
Yes, so
totally.
the power supply to that side, 800 green power, is come from the other side, which is the wind turbine and the solar panel somewhere else. Is not on site.
So the
Yeah.
turbine is not at Bexley Pools. Thank you.
It's combined and it's one wire. Why don't we know these things?
Okay, Councillor, sorry. Okay, on this item, we've got an officer's recommendation to receive and note the report. All in favour, say aye. Moved by Councillor Najee, seconded by Councillor Morrissey. All in favour, say aye. Against, declare it carried. Thank you. We're on to report number 3, CS 24023. And I think, is it Tom again? Yeah. Okay.
So this is a response to notice of motion put up by Councillor Douglas regarding the microplastic investigation throughout the Sydney Basin. So we brought this notice of motion to a meeting with SS Rock Environment and Sustainability Managers meeting on the 24th of July. And on the representative from other SS Rock member agreed that they will provide on the report to us, which is what they're doing, how they manage those microplastic in those areas, what the investigations, what the current issue with them, so that we provide the report to us. We also talked to Georgia River Keeper and Cook River Alliance, where they currently developing their litter prevention strategy, which will address these microplastic issues in the strategy. So the intention is when we got on the updated information, we're going to provide the report back to Council, hopefully in November 2024 meeting.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you for that. Any other questions? Pretty clear in the summary here, where SS Rock has to be quite involved in this. Thank you for that. Councillors, moved by Councillor Najee, seconded by Councillor Muscat. All in favour, say aye. Against, declare it carried. Thank you, councillors. We're on to the last report for this committee, and that's CS 24024, response notice of motion library volunteer program. I think the GM is talking to that.
Once a librarian, always a librarian, obviously. Yes, I've been volunteered to do this one. A question was asked at the June council meeting, a notice of motion about our volunteering policy in council's libraries, for us to do a desktop research exercise into best practice in library volunteering programs. The report before you tonight, councillors, does outline the fairly extensive volunteering opportunities that exist in council's libraries. As it says in the report, we have 17 regular volunteers who participate in programs, services and activities in our libraries. In the last year, as well as those 17 volunteers, we have had 3 high school student placements, 2 uni student placements and 2 Duke of Edinburgh award placements. Those of you who have supervised volunteers in the past will know it takes quite a lot of staff effort, resourcing and supervision to be able to do that well. And the view from the library service is that we are managing this well, but that it's also not something that we can grow substantially. It is taking up quite a lot of time. It does pay benefits, but it's working really well in its current form. So we have, obviously we have the volunteers, they're listed here doing things like English classes, of course our JP service located in the libraries, tech savvy seniors classes. We have volunteers who come in and run programs like chess, Tai Chi, Yarn Up and the knitting clubs. So there's quite a variety of things that our volunteers oversee and really make the library a much more vibrant place, and for different reasons, to come and visit it. It's also mentioned in the report that the union and ALIA, the national body for library and information services, have a policy that ensures that volunteers are not used as substitutes for functions undertaken by paid employees. Whereas in the past, we would have volunteers come in and do things like covering and shelving. That's no longer seen as appropriate, and indeed, there's very little covering and processing done on site anymore anyway. Any jobs such as that, like reshelving, are occupied by special needs employees as part of Council's commitment to a diverse and supportive workforce. You see before you have a table which shows that we've done a bit of research into what our neighbours and other Sydney libraries are doing, and you can see that we are very consistent with the majority of other councils, running program services and activities, including volunteers, doing student placements, doing Duke of Edinburgh, and having partnerships to promote a whole lot of activities in the libraries themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, GM. And yeah, we tick all the boxes.
We do.
Some councils don't. So, councillors, any questions for the GM? If not, I mean, we are well established as far as volunteer programs. Thank you for that summary. Moved by Councillor Naji, second by Councillor Muscat. All in favour, say aye. Against, declare it carried. Thank you, councillors. That basically brings us to the end of the meeting. Declare meeting closed at 7:25. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Corporate Performance Committee meeting, 7th of August. I declare the meeting open at 7:30 p.m. Everyone at this meeting is reminded to conduct themselves in a polite, professional manner, keep communications factual, use appropriate language and tone. Do not use any defamatory or derogatory remarks. I also ask councillors to observe the requirements under the Code of Meeting Practice and Meeting Etiquette. I remind all present that the video recording is an official record of council and may be made available to persons upon request in accordance with the Government Information Public Access Act 2009. No other recordings are permitted. Item 1 is our acknowledgement of country. Bayside Council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land, the Gadigal and Bidjigal people of the Eora Nation, and pays respects to elders past, present and emerging. Item number 2 is apologies. I have received apologies from councillors Fardell and Curry. Is there any other apologies? No, I have a mover that be accepted. Councillor Souness, seconded Councillor Nagy. All those in favour say aye. Declare that carried. Thank you. Item 3 is disclosures of interest. Anyone tonight got a disclosure of interest? None noted. Minutes of previous meetings. It's only Councillor Werner and I who were present. The last one who were members. So I'll move that with Councillor Werner to adopt the minutes. All those in favour say aye. I'll declare that carried. There's no items by exception or public forum, and one report. If we can have a summary of that, please. Over.
Who's the summary?
Who's doing that?
I'll introduce Ms. Harley, who's just going to give us a summary and a presentation on the
revotes.
revotes.
Thank you. That's right, we've got it down in front here.
Thanks, Richard. Through the chair, before you tonight is the summary of Council's 2023-24 carryovers and revotes, details of which are attached to tonight's report. The carryovers and revotes only cover fully grant and or reserve funded expenditure, majority of which are capital projects. In saying this, I would like to highlight that as of 30th of June 2024, Council spent approximately 93% of its capital projects budget across more than 150 projects. That is approximately $77 million out of the $83 million capital budget for the 23-24 year. As you would be aware of the legislative requirements relating to the authorization of expenditure, which is on the screen before you tonight, your attention is drawn to subsection 3, which states that all of Council's approvals and votes lapse at the end of the financial year, with the exception of works carried out or started, or goods, materials, or services provided or contracted to be provided for. These exceptions apply to carryovers, which do not necessarily require Council's approval or reapproval, since the votes have not lapsed as of 30th of June. However, any project that does not meet these requirements, any project that does not meet these requirements will need to be revoted by Council. During the financial year, or through the financial year, Council has 3 opportunities to amend its original budget during the 3 quarters. Since there is no 4th quarter adjustment, the carryover and revote process is an opportunity for Council to make final adjustments, but instead of applying these adjustments to the preceding year's budget, they are made to the new year's budget. So to sort of give a recap to councillors tonight and illustrate an example of a carryover, suppose Council approves a budget of $1,000 for Project A, to be spent equally over 2 financial years. The project begins in year 1, but by 30th of June, council only spent $400, leaving $100 unspent. Now, since council had approved $1,000 in the budget, the project has started, and the remaining $100 is carried over to the year 2 budget without needing council's revote or reapproval. Consequently, year 2's budget is revised upwards to $600 during the carryover process. To illustrate examples of where a revote might occur, using the same examples above, if at the end of the first financial year, council spends $100 more than what's budgeted, there is no unspent budget that needs to be carried over. In this case, as the project has commenced but exceeded the allocated budget by $100, council must now revote to reduce year 2's budget to $400. Another example of this is if at the end of year 1, council has not commenced the project, council must revote to include the expenditure in the following year's budget. It is important to note that both the carryovers and revotes do not alter the total approved budget for the projects at all. So you'll see that at the end of the day, even after the carryovers and revotes, it remains at the initial budget that council approves. Now, based on that understanding, on the screen now is the summary of council's carryovers and revotes. The total carryovers amount approximately to 5.1 million, with details in table 1 of the report attachment. The total net revotes result in a reduction of approximately 1.7 million, detailed in table 2 of the attachment. Now, as a result of these changes, the CPP program now has a revised budget of approximately 44.7 million at the end of the carryover. With all these changes incorporated, you can now see the proposed revised budget on the screen. It is important to note that the carryovers and revotes include only fully grant-funded and reserve-funded projects. And whilst operational revotes and carryovers affect the gross operating result for council, it does not affect council's general funds and cash budget result for 24 and 25, as their respective funding sources are also carried through to the new year. Finally, through the chair, I wanted to quickly highlight some of the caretaker restrictions that will take effect from Friday, 16th of August 2024. These restrictions prevent councils, GMs, and other council delegates from entering into any contract or undertaking of an amount equal to or greater than 150,000, or 1% of council's revenue from rates in the preceding year, whichever is larger. For Bayside, this amount is approximately 960,000. And these are amongst other restrictions that also are applied during the caretaker restrictions. Unfortunately, each of the projects that are requiring budget revotes at the August council meeting is below the 960K limit for council. That concludes the presentation for tonight, and the next slide is just the recommendation for the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I often tell people at work to explain it to us like we're a 10-year-old. And I'm saying that respectfully because it makes a lot of sense in layman's terms. So thank you very much for the work to simplify that as much as you did and take the complexity out of it. So well done. Have a mover for that, Councillor Tuna, second, Councillor Naji. Any questions? No questions. That's good. Okay, well, we've got a motion in front of us, CP 24021, committee recommendation in front of us. All those in favour say aye. No, I'll declare that carried. Thank you very much. There being no further business, close the meeting at 7:40.